Let me get out of the way. Okay, that's better.
Hey, Richard, how you doing? Hello?
Here, you can change that so he can see it. To you. I'm going to bring you up some lunch.
How come
You
you?
want me to change what?
No, I'm going to bring him some lunch.
Okay.
Hey, Richard. I don't know. Anyway. Hey, John. Hi, Bernice.
Hey, Joe.
This
How are we doing?
I'm good.
Got your email. Everything downloaded quite well this time. That's my
Yay!
calendar.
Okay.
Are there no classes between Christmas and New Year's?
I'm not sure whether, I don't, last
you didn't
year.
have any, yeah, you didn't have anything.
Yeah, I don't have anything scheduled for that week because last year, well, what was it? It was about 3 weeks that we didn't have any classes. It was like the second week of January before we started.
Right.
So, I never quite know what the county's going to do. But I went ahead and I just decided, I've got about 200 hours in leave time that I need to use. And so I'm taking, like a chunk of it, and then I was going to take that 4 days between Christmas.
I thought you said that, but I didn't remember then. I say when nothing downloaded, then I thought that was the case.
Yeah. The classes I think end on the 23rd is the last class. Yeah. And then of course, once we kind of get around that time of year, we'll kind of know what's going on, and and I'll do this again. Reschedule some classes, and we'll kind of figure it out.
Hey, that's how it works.
Yeah, but that month of December is kind of tough because you've got Thanksgiving, and people are some people travel. Some people go places. Spend time with family. So you miss a few days there, and then I think about 2 weeks before that they've got Veterans Day.
Right. Yep.
And it was like 1 year I was like really shocked and surprised that the county counted that as a holiday, and we all had off. And I don't remember them doing that in the past, but a couple of years ago I remember doing it. So I don't know what they do now.
Take it. They give it, take it.
Yeah, if it's holiday, yeah. Well, and you can't argue with them. You can't say, "Oh no, I really don't want to celebrate Veterans Day."
Right.
And why would I say that? I'm a veteran. I need to celebrate Veterans Day. So, but so you've got that. You've got Hanukkah right at the end of November, and so now they don't have that scheduled as a holiday off for any of the employees, but with the makeup of the group of students that I had at Benson and stuff, there was a large number of people who they were busy during that time of year. So
that's it. Yes.
Yeah. But we'll have classes regardless. And then, like I said, then you get like Christmas coming. And what is that? I want to say it's like the 24th and 25th. Or it may be like the 25th and 26th. So, so taking that last week off just gives everybody a break for a little bit. And I figure most people are going to be wrapped up, with friends and family and stuff. And so.
What week is this?
That's the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
So, yeah, I sent that out in the email. Did you get the email?
I haven't been in emails today. I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. I know Lorraine got her email because I just read one that says, hey, they finally came through. Yeah. It's amazing what happens when I get the right email address for you.
Well, even you have my old address. It was supposed to be forwarding all of that always. So I'm not sure why I didn't get what you sent earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you were on the list. I mean, you should be getting it, but anyway. But you are now. And we know that.
That's amazing. You are now.
Lunch.
Okay. All right, guys. Anyway, happy Tuesday. Here we are. What a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Gorgeous day. Gorgeous day.
I know. We've only got 8 of you, and that's probably because the rest of you are out there running around, trying to soak up the last bit of sunshine before it turns.
This way you won't make a mess.
Yeah, cool and wintry. Okay.
I went for a walk this morning. It was beautiful.
Did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, took some pictures and everything.
Yeah. I'm going to mute Richard because he's got a lot of stuff going on in the background. I think they're trying to.
Yeah.
So.
Eloise and Bob, I'm sure, at their class.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're out there running around in the sunshine, out and about doing their thing, which is fine. That's what people should be doing. But we got a fair amount of stuff to cover today, so we're gonna jump into it. Hey, Veronica, how are you? We need to unmute you so you can talk to us.
Hello. Yeah, I had muted myself.
Yeah.
Just in case it got noisy.
Oh, you get noise over there in your place, huh?
Well,
You got a little rumbling going on over there?
Yeah, the repairman is on his way for my refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
All right. Okay.
It's less than a year old, so
Yeah.
that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could swap refrigerator stories with you.
I'm
But-
sure.
We all could.
Yeah.
No, I bought this beautiful refrigerator. I thought, man, this thing has got everything in it, bells and whistles and big and, everything else. And let's see, I've had it about 3 years, 4 years. No, well, okay, no. It's, probably about 5 years now I've had it. And now the ice maker keeps freezing up. I have to keep going in there and breaking the ice because the defrost thing isn't working on it. And had a repair guy out, and he told me, basically, that's kind of one of the features of these things. They just kind of, they didn't engineer that one really well. And,
You use the wrong word.
yeah. So yeah.
oh, that wasn't part of the description of the refrigerator when you bought
Yeah,
it?
it's like, here,
That's
have it for a couple of years, and you'll have a solid block of ice up there, in your fridge. You'll be able to get ice out of it. So.
Right.
Yeah, I gave up. Mine gave out too, so I just got little trays. I didn't bother getting it fixed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he told me how much it would cost to replace it with the same part that in 4 or 5 years would start doing the same thing. And it was almost half the cost of the refrigerator. And that wasn't even, that wasn't even the cost of his labor. That was just getting the part. It was crazy.
What part are you talking about? What part are you talking about?
The ice maker.
Just the ice maker itself.
Just the ice maker.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is a long time ago, many years ago, I actually got trained as to be a refrigeration technician and install ice makers. And something costing half of what the refrigerator costs does not sound right to me at all. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's all plastic. Yeah,
We solved our problem. We go and buy bags of ice,
Uh-huh.
put them inside the ice maker, and there's ice for us. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, that part is just too doggone expensive.
Yeah. But it's like, okay.
I got some nice cheap ice trays, and they work quite well.
Yeah. Well, he did inform me that if I wanted to go out and buy the newer model of it, that they've now re-engineered it so that it works.
Oh, for another 5 years, right? Extra 5 years.
So that's okay.
I think he's lying to you, Charles, because
So
this
now,
refrigerator is less than a year old, and the
Yeah.
ice maker, I can't close the door to the refrigerator.
Oh
Yeah.
my
mean,
gosh.
I am
Yeah.
not happy.
Have you got a Samsung?
No, this one is a GE,
Oh, okay.
so we shouldn't be doing that in my head anyway.
Yeah. Well, no. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I don't think they're really designed to not close and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. You know?
Veronica, I can only see the top of your face.
There we go.
Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Anyway, well, I'm glad everybody's doing well. Who's here? And we're going to jump in. We're going to take a look at some stuff. And we've got some nice stuff to look at. So, we're going to get to it. And that way, if we get done early, we'll have some social time. We'll break out the margaritas.
All right.
Sounds
And
good.
have a little chat.
Mhm.
Okay, can everybody see the butterfly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well now, it's amazing, but this butterfly belongs to Bernice Washington.
Oh, nice, Bernice.
Oh, I got a
Very
last
nice.
name.
Very nice.
That's nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah, she did a really nice butterfly, and that came off of the Friday drawings. Now she has hers, kind of right side up. The way it was actually in the photo was kind of like this. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I drew it. But that notebook, the way it is,
Uh-huh.
when you take the picture, but that is the way I drew it.
Okay. But it
But you
works
know,
either way.
I looked at that picture and the background looked like the butterfly was supposed to be on top. The flowers in the background, the way they were,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like the butterfly was supposed to be on top.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't remember it that way, but I'll have to go back and, in fact, we can take a look at it. It's
Oh, okay.
included the photos, right?
There it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he's in the right orientation. Yeah, you see the stems?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you turn it, they're going in different directions.
Uh-huh.
I
Well,
guess.
they're mainly
Anyway.
going vertical, right? Now, if
Oh,
we turn
okay.
it, then they're kind of going sideways. It could work really either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Nice job, though, Bernice.
But it's very nice drawing. She did a good job on that. Nice proportions in relationship with the wings to the body. All of that seems to be pretty solid. So that's some good observation on Bernice's part. Now she sent this in, and Did you do two of them, Bernice? Are you with us, Bernice?
What happened?
I'm here. My phone ringing, so I had to hang them up. But anyway, yeah, I was trying to work on my shading, so I redid the butterfly, and it still looks like I'm doing it the wrong way. But actually, it's just the way the notebook is. You could go ahead and turn it.
Oh, you mean the wrong direction? Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. But I want to I want to point something out to you. Okay. In looking at the two of them, right? Now this is what you did in class, right? And basically this is a very kind of tonal approach. It's based on the values, light and darks and things like that, right? And then when you redrew it, you got a little more lineal with it. So you were more concerned about accuracy of the shapes and the outlines and things, and you still got some of the tonal in there as well. And see, it's that nice combination of value with the line, and they work really well together. And beautiful job on that one.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, I didn't finish the body yet. I didn't put the colors in for the body.
Yeah. But this is a very nice,
Very nice, though.
very accurate drawing, and you got again some really nice transition in value that really work out really well. So yeah, I'm glad you redid it. and it, now you've got a pretty good, understanding of, how to draw a butterfly. And then I saw this, and it looks like you're trying to draw a wool blanket.
Yeah, well, I was trying to I was drawing the picture from maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it frightened me back so I said, let me just find a picture of how to draw fold. But really, the folds on the left look like fold, but mine look like I'm drawing an ear or something.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Okay. In looking at the two of them, what's the difference between the two?
I think the lines are more subtle. I think some of my lines are too harsh, and my transitions are not smooth. From the light to the dark.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Plus, if you squint your eye down, right, and you look at the actual photo image, right, the values are much different. You see, you have a very strong shape kind of in the middle. That overall is dark. It's in shadow.
Oh, okay.
And it includes, kind of that ear-shaped fold. There's nothing really there except for like one little ridge that really catches a lot of light in that. And yet your values between...
Oh, I see that now. I didn't, I see that. I got the light all the way down.
Right. And so, again, squint your eye down, and kind of look at those big blocks of value of where it's lighter and darker. And then, try to include that in your drawing.
Oh, yeah. I'll work on that some more.
Okay. The other thing, that I'd mentioned is, you were kind of concerned with how, hard it was. And, you can always, this is graphite, right? So you can always take your finger, or you could take a napkin or a paper towel or something, over your finger and rub it and blend it.
Oh, okay. Because I wonder how to use these little white pencils I have too.
Yeah.
What to do?
Well, you can, as an alternative, depending on how much graphite you get on there, you can use some of the white pencil over it. Now, I will tell you, that usually works better with like Conte or charcoal. With graphite tends to kind of fill in the paper and get kind of slick feeling. So you can't really use that white, over an area that's got, a fairly good coverage of graphite on it. So,
So you do better just use your finger rather than use a paper pencil, huh?
Yeah, that, and if you had a kneaded eraser or an electric eraser or anything like that, then you can pull out those lights again, pull out your highlights.
Okay, I'll work on it some more.
Do you know what a kneaded eraser is?
No.
It's those gray erasers, that are kind of soft, and you can pull them, and they're stretchy. It's almost like Play-Doh. Have you ever seen?
Oh yeah, I think you've shown those to us once before. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can pull those and soften them, and then kind of shape them into really any shape you want, like a wedge or a point or anything else, and then go back in and erase areas and just lift it out. Now the thing with kneaded erasers, you can use it, and then you have to find a new spot, because it will pick up the graphite and it will fill up, and then you just kind of turn it and use a different point. And then if it gets to the point where you can't lift any graphite off of it, you just take it and you just literally knead it like bread. You pull it and stretch it.
Okay.
And then it cleans the eraser, and you're ready to go again.
Oh, okay.
And the nice thing about kneaded erasers are that they'll last virtually forever.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've got kneaded.
They don't ever get full of graphite, huh?
No, I mean, if you just keep pulling them and working them. I mean, I have kneaded erasers from when I was in college.
Oh, okay.
That I still use. It's like one of the things that in the art industry they hate, because it's like, you can buy a couple of them and you never have to buy them again.
Oh, okay.
You just keep using them. So, yeah.
So Charles,
I'll look for that next time I'm out.
Yeah, they're not expensive either. Pretty cheap. Yeah.
So Charles, when you're kneading when you're trying to take the graphite out, where is it going? On your fingers?
No.
Do you need to put on some paper and do that?
No,
Okay.
no, it's a when you buy these things, they're kind of a gray color,
Yeah.
right? And as you use them, and as they begin to fill up, they'll get darker.
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Mhm.
But
It sort of absorbs them.
yeah, but the
Okay.
graphite actually becomes kind of part of the eraser. But
Okay.
Okay.
again, I mean, as long as you can keep pulling them and they get soft,
Mhm.
and sometimes, you have to really work at it. If they've
Oh,
been
okay.
sitting for a long time or the weather's really cold, it's going to take you 10, 15 minutes, to pull it. But the more you pull it, the lighter the color will become.
Mhm.
And that just means that the graphite is kind of being absorbed into the material itself. And when it's soft and warm and clean, you can go back and use it again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And like I said, I've been using, some of these things for like 40 years, 40, 50 years. I mean, I still literally have the ones that I had at the Academy of Art in San Francisco,
Wow.
So,
I tell you something. Now this picture, the original picture and my picture looks like a person with the ear look like two eyes. There's a nose coming down the side. That's when I moved
Yeah.
back in the
Mhm.
day. I see
Yeah.
a person.
yeah,
With a
we're
hood on.
yeah,
Or a
we're doing
crocodile.
yeah, we're doing a little abstraction here now, Bernice is turning into the new Pablo Picasso of the of the senior art world here. So, yep, we're finding stuff in there. But again, that eraser will help a lot, and
Okay.
just practice, playing with blending and softening things,
Okay.
right? And in fact, I did fairly early on. I did a drawing demonstration, and and I went through the whole process of kind of creating the finished drawing. So you put down your first initial marks, find your shapes, your proportions, and then you rub the drawing back, and then you build up your tones and your values, and you rub the drawing back, and then you'll begin to lay in some of your darker values and build those up, and then you'll rub the drawing back. And then you'll start coming back in with your eraser and, kind of pulling back some of your midtones and lights, and softening it. And then you'll rub it back, and then you'll do it again. And it's always,
What, can you describe what you mean by rubbing it back?
Yeah, you take like a paper towel or something and you just kind of rub it, lightly. You don't scrub it real hard, just lightly. And all that does is that just, takes down all the sharp edges and things and softens it.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
See? Until you get to the point where, you've got all your values and everything in place, and the drawing, is just a little bit soft. And then you can make a choice to go back in and, sharpen up a few of those edges and lines and things like that and finish it. Maybe I should play that video again. It's about an hour long. Maybe I'll do that maybe we'll do that this Friday. And that way you guys can get a good idea what that whole drawing process is from beginning to end. Okay.
Speaking of video, the video, and you the one that you did for us too. Where the face is in the thirds, and then the next part is another third.
Mhm.
Which video is that? I was looking for that. What's the name of that video?
Oh, you mean the one with like the 2/3 size circle?
Yes,
on the
yeah.
head?
Mhm.
He sent those. He sent 2 links on those.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I
Oh,
sent
you
those
did? Okay,
links up.
I'll find it then. I'll
Yeah,
find it.
but if you
'Cause
can't,
I've
I've got them, and I can resend them for you.
okay. Mhm.
But yeah, that's a good one to keep a link to and go back and review, because if you watch it 2 or 3 times, each time you'll pick up a little something different,
Mhm.
and get a little better understanding of it. So it's worth going back and looking at those sometimes. Okay. All right. So last but not least, you sent in your drawing of that artist's still life, and you had sent something in before, I thought.
I did.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like you've extended the table out a little bit now, I think.
Well, what I want to do, I want to play with the folds.
Mhm.
So I said, let me with the shadows and the folds. So that's why I sent it again. Even though I didn't get very far, you can see I just got close to it.
Yeah, well, you got the idea down, and you didn't, it doesn't look as though you made a lot of repetitive folds and things like that. They seem to be, nicely proportioned and fairly well thought out. So yeah, so I thought you did okay on it.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, you could keep playing with them and get some value in there, a little broader range of value, and then that fabric would really kind of come to life for you.
Okay.
That, and like I said, practice blending a little bit, and softening some edges and things. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is Claudia here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay. Yeah, she sent these, and these were taken in Charleston. Her and her husband went over there for a business trip or something, and I guess this lady was doing she was singing, her and her accompaniment, and Claudia shot these, basically for inspiration, and I guess she's gonna maybe try to do something with them. I don't really understand what she's gonna try to do with them yet, but there's there's some nice shots here. I mean, like this shot in particular.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is breaking up a lot.
We lost you.
Yep, I know. I looked over there and boom, you were gone. I was like, wait a minute.
You need to contact this wonderful company we have that goes off more than it's on.
Oh, well, yeah. That probably wasn't on your end. It was probably, I don't know. Could have been on my end.
It's their reception. They got behind where we live, they got one of these tall, supposedly
Towers.
and it works. They got such a weak thing coming into this building with as many people as they got. I think it's probably the buildings. Well, whatever it is, it's their fault.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get back to it. Right. So let's do the share screen.
Did you get mine, Charles? I sent them Friday right after class. I don't see them in the lineup.
I remember seeing.
I sent them right after class.
Yeah. I remember seeing them. I thought I downloaded them. Maybe I didn't. Well, that's easy to fix, John. Let's see. Let's go to Outlook. Let's go Zoom. Wanda, Claudia, Rena. Let's look. Well, there's. Oh yeah, here. Okay, Art Share Friday class. Yeah. So let's take a look at that real quick.
Charles, you were showing some photos. Are you also doing photos in this class, photography?
No.
Oh.
What I was, talking about is that Claudia Lang Pitts sent them in, as like a source of inspiration, I guess.
Oh.
And what I was saying is that, I'm not sure what she has planned to do with them. And I wanted to kind of talk to her about them. But, they're, as reference photos, they're kind of nice, nice images to work with. So,
They're really dark though. Would be hard to get to discern like below the neck and stuff. It's really, it's not with clarity.
uh-huh.
It's just a general overall form that you can get, but you couldn't put shadows and lights and get a face out of it.
No,
Not well, anyway.
I don't know. You know, I mean,
it's pretty clear. Yeah.
yeah. Are we talking about the same photo?
One you've got on hand now,
Uh-huh.
her face and her body from the waist up is just too dark to, on my picture here, to make a, except for just a drawing, if you want to make a stick, just a overall drawing with no shading on it, because all you get is shading. It's not with
Sounds
character,
like it sounds like it's just your picture there, Gene.
probably.
Yeah, because I don't know. You know, I'm not. I mean, yes, her
A lot
face.
of definition, yeah.
Yeah, her face and her upper body are all in a shadow, but yeah, they're not really all that dark. I mean, she has a lot of dark hair.
Yeah,
Right.
it may be my computer or it may be my,
Yeah.
yeah.
But overall, I mean, you could do, and again, it kind of depends on what you wanted to do. If you wanted to make this, kind of a very, loose, simplified painting and not have a lot of facial details and stuff like that, yeah, that would work perfectly well. So, I like this particular photo that she sent in, again, because of the interaction between the two people. She's got some other ones like this one, and this one doesn't do much for me, because she's just kind of sitting out there in the middle of a room. But she's got a closer shot of her.
Where he's hidden behind the plant.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, but he's hidden.
Yeah, but I mean, she could use this one as well, and this has got a lot more light on it. But yeah, I mean, for an idea, for a painting, I mean, any of those could work, really.
Yeah.
Then we have June, and I haven't forgotten about
John, what about me?
Oh, we haven't forgotten about you. I just downloaded. Okay, we're gonna get there, John. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I promise. I'm not gonna forget you. Okay. So we have June, and she did a couple of heads. This is from the head studies that we did. And again, you're beginning to find the proportions and the measurement, kind of see that structure under there. And in this drawing, you saw it fairly clearly. This one is still a little distorted, and you're not quite really sure where to go with it. But again, you're trying, you're looking for those planes and changes and stuff. So you're at least aware of them, and that's good. Same thing in here. You've got a pretty good understanding of the thirds, the classic 1/3, division. Now, I've pointed this out to you before. One thing about drawing somebody from like a 3/4 view or from the side of the head, you really want to check the proportion of the height to the overall width, right? Because you have a tendency to make your head kind of skinny, right? And that head the hair could probably move back to about right there to get that head proportional. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So just check that, when you're drawing, particularly side views and 3/4 views, the overall height to the width, kind of figure out what that ratio is. Because I've noticed that about your drawings. We talked about that before, how you kind of squish the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but again, it's that underlying structure idea. Now you've got that circle that takes up 2/3 of the proportions in the face, and you can see that pretty clearly there. So that's good. Again, the drawing over to the right, you've kind of squeezed, the back, so that it's kind of tall and narrow. And
Okay, yeah.
yeah, and I can absolutely guarantee you on her head that that's not what happened. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, then we have more. Now you went to a colored pencil, and it's interesting because you took some artistic liberty here, and worked, made her some green hair, and actually, I think I'm going to
Yeah.
suggest that to her. She looks, she looks kind of punk, with green hair. She would probably, really like to do that. And it would work for her. But yeah, really lovely chair. And the perspective on this is real nice because you get the sense that you're looking down, on the chair, which you were. And so the foreshortening things is really pretty nice in there. Okay, a lot of good observation in that.
Thank you.
You've got the waterfall. Now, the thing with landscapes
It's
is,
too hard for me.
yeah, you
trying to.
you struggle with
practice.
landscapes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and guess what? You wouldn't be the only one. Landscapes can, it seems simple enough, but when you kind of get into it, there's a lot of stuff going on. And and what you kind of have going on here is that your waterfall is falling over. See? And it's all because of the angle, of the falls. And they're kind of going downhill. Now, if you wanted to get them to look like they were at an angle and moving, backward, I'm kind of thinking that the line, the angle here would be just the opposite. See? Since this area is closest to us, it would be higher, and then the angle would be doing something like this. And if it were, then it would be very close to what the house is doing. And then the perspectives would work together. But as it is, you've got the house, which feels right. And then you've got the waterfall, which kind of feels like we're in the middle of an earthquake and it's falling over. So, but yeah, those angles, yeah.
Okay.
Should be, more like the house. See, I'm thinking. Do you have the reference on this, or did you draw this on site?
Yeah, I do. I took the picture and the Niagara Falls when
Okay.
I went on. I have been there. Yeah, it's Canada. It's a high building. They look down like the picture.
Can you send me the picture, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
I try just to practice this. I try to make like a oil painting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, send me the picture and then we'll look at it again. And that way I can tell you, kind of what's going on there. Okay. It's hard to know without looking at the reference. Okay.
Okay.
But my general impression is something not quite right there. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
And then we have this handsome devil right here. And by the way, this guy is a friend of mine. I've talked about him before. His name is Shane McDonald. He has an art studio up here in Marietta. And he was all dressed up that day because he was sitting for a portrait demo. He was actually being the model at the American Portrait Society down here in downtown Atlanta. That's where that photo was taken. So, but you did a pretty good job. I mean, I recognize, who he is. Again, kind of the width in here seems to be a little bit narrow, probably.
A little bit, okay.
Yeah, a little wider, okay. You got the idea of the vertical height, but yeah, you really got to start looking at the depth, from front to back, okay? That's important.
Okay.
Yeah. Now with your butterfly, you didn't have any problem with that. You know, you did a beautiful butterfly, and the you know, the overall proportions of the body to the wings and things, you know, feel pretty good. You know, I'm kind of thinking the body could be just a little bit smaller, but yeah, I mean, it still works. You know, and it's a really nice drawing. You know, the way you laid in the value and stuff. So, you know, you did a good job seeing that. And then you did another drawing of Laura, and this time you gave her black hair. And you didn't push the perspective on this drawing as much as you did the one with the green hair. And
yeah.
And I think I like the one with the green hair better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because this is in the class. Otherwise, I feel the head and not not ankle. So I after class I did another one.
Yeah. This one seems a little bit stiffer, right?
Yeah.
And you've kind of straightened her up more than she was. She was a little more fluid. Yeah. But, you know, and still, you did a pretty good job. And you kind of recognize, well, I recognize who she is. So, you know, it's not a bad drawing. It's just, you know, it's not quite as relaxed and fluid as the other one. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So then let's talk to Miss Lorraine. Okay. So Lorraine, talk to me. Did we share?
Yeah, I hadn't gotten your email with the photos from the class, so I couldn't really continue working on what I'd done in the class, which was not very finished.
Okay.
But I had an old class. We did this thing where we took whatever we were using. And then the process was to draw wavy lines across and down that photo. And basically you had, the original idea was you had it divided up into a grid. Yeah.
Okay.
And so you knew what was in every section. Then when you made the lines wavy, now what was in the section changed totally. And the idea was to then draw as if you were working with this wavy line grid rather than the straight across and up and down grid.
Okay.
And so that's what the drawing is like.
Yeah. So that's what, that was the end result.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything became a little bit distorted. You know?
That's nice though. I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
It
too.
was kind of fun. I liked it.
Yeah, I know it was.
Well, I like it too. I mean, you know, it actually, in the drawing, it's more expressive because it shows or implies, you know, movement. You know, and when you look at the original, you know, the photo, you know, everything is very stiff, you know, very vertical and, you know, kind of hard, right? When you look at your drawing, you know, because of the movement of it and stuff, it softens it quite a bit. And it makes it kind of fun and a lot more interesting to look at, you know, than, you know, just a kind of a straight rendering, you know, of the Statue of Liberty and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so there's, you know, there's a lot of really nice things about it. And I'm guessing that this is like pen, like ink pen, something like that.
Yeah, well, you know, I always draw originally in some pencil or something, but it's ink. Yeah, it's pen and ink at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, at some point in time, you and I need to sit down and have a discussion about cross-hatching and creating textures in ink. Because if you like to draw in pen and ink, there's some wonderful examples of drawings in that medium, and you can really get just this really, really wide range of value and texture and stuff that really makes those drawings come alive and really interesting. And so, you know, I think I had recommended to you that you look at an artist by the name of J.C. Linedecker. Did you ever do that?
No, I didn't even have the name spelled right. I remember that.
Okay, I'll try to find some of his.
I need to get, if you could send me some, you
Mhm.
know, the actual name and
Yeah.
No, I haven't gotten to do that.
Okay, I'll look him up and I'll try to, you know, put some in the queue so we can talk about him, because I mean he was like one of the preeminent American illustrators from the golden age of illustration, and you know basically all he did was pen and ink. You know, it was all black and white. You know, like fashion drawings and things like that. But just beautiful. You know, beautiful job. You know, very lifelike. And so, yeah, I want you to look at his work because I think you can, you know, pick up a lot, you know, from, you know, him. And I'll try to find some other artists who work in pen and ink as well. Like, what is it? The last name Beardsley. He was very popular again in the 60s, but he was like from
Beardsley, I know Beardsley.
Okay, yeah. And there's a bunch of them out there, but I'll pull some images together of, you know, pen and ink drawings, because as a medium, you know, it's a beautiful medium to work in. It really is.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's because it's either black or it's white, and you really don't have gray values. You know, you have to create them, you know, with patterns and textures and things like that. It presents like some really interesting challenges, you know, to the artist.
Yeah.
But it also gives you some opportunities to go in there and do some really fanciful, wonderful things, you know, with the drawing. And a lot of artists who use this as their medium really do. I mean, they can take and interpret stuff, you know, in so many different ways. But I'll try to get a hold of some of those, and we'll talk further about that.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, because this is, you know, it's a great little piece. It really is, you know, very nice.
Yeah.
So here's your drawing, you know, of Mr. Shane McDonald. Okay. And you know, hey. Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't get far on any of them. So this is just from the class, and
yeah, and I think I think I pointed out to you, it's not about getting done. Okay. It's nice if you can finish the drawing, you know, but really the goal here is to give you time to draw and make observation. And I would rather you not finish a drawing and be more accurate than rush through just to get something done. Okay. Because you'll get faster the more you draw. That will just happen over time. You know, but the accuracy part is important, because if you're just drawing very quickly and you're not checking your proportions and things like that, you know, you're not going to improve a lot. So like I said, you know, it's okay that the drawing isn't finished. You know, try to get, you know, the proportions and the accuracy to it. You know? I mean, lots of artists. You know, if you look at Casey Bow, you know, he does a lot of drawings, and you know, in some ways you would say that they're not finished because, you know, the face or the figure just sort of fades off. You know, he may only give you like, you know, like half of the face, and then, you know, the rest of it, because it fell into shadow, he just lets it go and lets you kind of fill it in, you know. And that's a pretty common illustration trick, you know. When things fall into shadow, you just kind of let it, you know, simplify into a flat space. So again, you know, it's not about getting all the details down and everything else. I would rather see you just try to be accurate with your drawings right now, rather than rushing through them. You know, the drawing of like Laura, you know, now this is a very lineal drawing. You started putting in some of the values and things, but the drawing by itself has got, you know, like a really lovely character to it, you know, and the expression on the face, you know, it feels kind of light, you know, kind of like a little slice of life moment. You know, she was kind of caught, you know, sitting in the chair there. So just all on its own, just the way it is. You know, it's a lovely little drawing. Now, you know, we could get nitpicky and talk about, you know, line weight and varying the line weight and things like that. And that's, you know, and that's all true. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to take away from the fact that you captured something in the drawing that's really very nice. See? So, you know, it's a nice little drawing, just as a line drawing. It doesn't have to be finished. You know, same thing with the butterfly. Now with the butterfly, you know, you didn't finish the whole drawing, and it's okay, because what you concentrated on, you know, was this, you know, wing area right here. And notice, you know, just with the outline, in many ways, your brain kind of fills in the rest of the butterfly. It doesn't matter that it's not all, you know, all finished. See, and sometimes, you know, that works really well. So, you know, you don't have to necessarily put everything into a painting or a drawing. Sometimes if you just imply that something is there and give somebody just enough, it makes it a much more engaging piece of art, because then they kind of become an active partner in viewing the art and fill in the rest themselves. See? That's what we call, you know, keeping the conversation open. And that's really important, you know, because a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, you know, I've been guilty of this many, many times. It's like I overwork things. And, you know, when you do that, you actually cut off the conversation, you know, because you're telling them what everything is and just the way it is. And they, you know, it doesn't leave them any room, you know, the viewer, any room to kind of make it their own and interpret it and become, you know, part of the process. So.
I remember the good excuse to use if I ever had to have that just unfinished. Oh, well, you know, I wanted people to be able to use their imagination to fill in the rest. I like that.
Yeah, artists use, hey, look, artists use that all the time. Okay. You know, not everything has to be spelled out. You know? And sometimes it's better if you don't. You know, honestly, really. Okay. Moving on. We have Susan Adair. John, I haven't forgotten. Okay. We're getting to you. All right. I know we skipped over him.
No problem.
He didn't get into the queue here. That's my fault. So we have a butterfly here. Okay. And what a lovely butterfly it is. Okay.
Who is this, Charles?
Susan Adair. Okay. She was here.
Thank you.
Where did she go? Ah, okay. Heard it. Okay.
I'm here.
All right. So yeah, now you're using looks like graphite pencil, and then you're using color pencil with it, or?
I'm just using a regular pencil, and I'm using color pencils along with it. But
right. Yeah. Now, when you do that, my suggestion is you don't mix them, because
okay.
graphite is kind of soft and it will move around, it will smear. And then when you go over it with the color pencil, it just kind of blends with the color pencil. If you're gonna work with the color pencils, then work by starting off with like a dark, like a black or a gray or a brown color pencil to do your, you know, basic drawing with, and then work color over that. Because then when you use the color pencil over it, it blends together nicely, okay? And then it doesn't make the color look dirty, right? With the graphite, you know, it kind of makes all the colors muddy, okay?
Okay.
So yeah, just kind of stick with, you know, like one media or the other, and don't mix them. The only way that you could do that effectively is to use the graphite and then spray it, you know, and fix it so it doesn't move.
Yeah, I don't have it right. So, yeah, I guess I need to get some kind of
Yeah.
spray.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Or, you know, do you have hairspray?
No, I don't use hairspray.
You don't use
so I don't-
hairspray? Yeah, I know. It was a very 60s and 70s kind of thing. But yeah, if you had hairspray in the house, you could use it. And it smells better than fixative, I can guarantee you. Okay. But it will do the same job.
Okay.
All right.
A lot less expensive too.
Pardon?
I said, and it's a lot less expensive also.
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love Aquanet. You,
So Charles, with the hairspray, can you use that on charcoal drawings also?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get like at the Dollar Tree or something like that, you can get a can of Aquanet for like 79 cents.
They don't have Aquanet at my Dollar Tree. They got some other.
As long as it's
grocery stores
hairspray.
have Aquanet. It's now $2 instead of $1.
Ooh.
Well, you know, the thing is, if you buy the high-end hairspray, it doesn't have as much lacquer in it as the cheap stuff. So you want to get the really cheap stuff, because the really cheap stuff is, you know, the stuff you spray on your head, you know, that makes it kind of almost like a armor helmet, you know, so your hair doesn't bend. You know, the stuff that they had back in the 60s and 70s, it's like when it set your hair, nothing was going to move that stuff. You know, you could run into a brick wall and you know, break the wall with it.
Open air driving in a convertible and your hair doesn't move.
Yeah. No, I mean, it you know, it did what they advertised. It held your hair exactly where it was. You know. Now, was your hair soft? No. But, you know, but hey, you know, you gotta, you gotta make choices here. You know,
you probably better get 2 or 3 cans before they stop carrying it, since people don't use that anymore.
yeah, but yeah, if you get the really cheap stuff, that's the good stuff for drawing. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go out and you buy the stuff that costs $4 or $5, that doesn't have hardly any lacquer in it, you know, and it won't fix your drawings. So you want to test it, okay? Not on your hair, just on the drawing. Okay? Anyway, this is Shane again. And Susan, kind of the same comment, you know, you kind of squished his head.
Yeah, I noticed that after I was done, but I wasn't going to start all over.
Yeah. I mean, you got the vertical, you know, proportions, but yeah, it's the horizontal ones. You got it. Yeah, the goal is get both. Okay. Whoop, come on. And then we have Laura. It's interesting, you know, you know, you're drawing with Laura. You've got the perspective, kind of the forced perspective that was, you know, in the photo. So you definitely get the sense that you're looking down on her. But there's something about the drawing, to me, okay, and maybe it's just me, everybody can, you know, chime in here. It's almost like she's a little girl sitting in the chair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's more like a child, you know, sitting in the chair, even though she's wearing that cocktail dress. But yeah, there's something about the drawing that just kind of makes me feel like, you know, it's almost like, you know, we're looking at a little girl. Not that that's a bad thing, you know.
Yeah. Or maybe just a tiny lady.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of got, again, you know, that's my impression.
Okay.
It may not be everybody else's. But as far as, you know, just the technical part of the drawing, you know, you picked up a couple of really good, strong things in it, in the sense that you definitely saw the perspective. You know, you've got her anchored in the chair, and, you know, overall, you know, it's a fairly fluid looking figure. You know, she doesn't look real stiff or uncomfortable. So, you know, that was great, you know, other than the fact that, you know, I mean, she does kind of look like a little girl here in the drawing. But yeah, nice drawing. And again, you know, same thing with the media. and it's like,
Can I ask a question about that, Charles, about your comment about looking like a little girl?
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Are you
closer.
saying that because the head is larger and rounder than
Yeah, I
it
think
should be?
it's,
Because I'm thinking of when cartoons are drawn, kids are drawn with rounder, their heads are larger in proportion to the rest of their body.
yeah, and
Is that
it's
what makes it?
probably,
I'm trying to understand why it looks like that to you.
I think, mainly because the proportions, between the body and the head, proportions. Because if you,
wider to fit the head, and that would
Pardon?
make her look. That would make her look more in proportion.
if she either had a smaller head or a larger body, she would look more her age. But let's go back, let's look at the reference. And as you can see, her body is really much larger and her head is much smaller.
Right. But look at the shoulder line.
Yeah.
The width
So,
to what she's drawn.
yeah. So the proportions, between the two, I mean, here, you see adult woman, in the drawing, because the proportion of the head to the body, it kind of makes her look, more like, a child. Because children's heads are larger in proportion to their whole physical body than adults. So.
Well, but if you look at your reference, the top of the shoulders are a lot wider compared to the head.
Right. Yeah.
Photograph.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The width of the shoulder and just the general proportion, of the whole mass of the body, to the head. So yeah, that's something, that you want to try to, pick up early on in the drawing and get those proportions right before you get into really kind of trying to give her features or anything else. No. But just, try to be a little more aware of that, the size relationship of things. Okay?
Okay.
Here, okay. See, we have a different artist. This is Wanda. Okay, same drawing. Okay, but here, this looks like a woman, right? And notice that the size of the head to the body, okay, feels more like an adult. More proportion.
One rounded her out too.
Yes.
That head looks a little
You
too
well.
small for the body.
Yeah. Wanda curved, made her more curvy.
I had tried to get the picture off my computer, but the picture came out with the bottom right part like a negative. So I couldn't see where, like, not a negative, but like a double exposure or something. So I couldn't really see the design of how the bottom went. So I just took my imagination, just left it because I didn't want to mess it up or make it look
all right
bad. So I just drew what I saw. So
well,
that's why it looks like that.
Yeah, let me mention one thing to you. In the fact of making her a little more curvy, you also made her a little more fluid. And, she moves kind of nicely across the page.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, so it actually was kind of a nice thing,
Oh, okay.
And worked out, as the drawing. Now, would Laura be happy with that? That you gave her
I don't think so.
a lot of weight in her thighs and hips? Probably not so much, but, but she'll never know. We won't tell her. So
Right,
okay.
Never know.
Yeah.
I like the chair too.
Huh? Yeah.
I like the chair.
Yeah, Wanda had a lot of fun with that chair.
I did.
Now, one thing, Wanda, that is a little bit kind of off in this is the fact that where a lot of people kind of got the idea that you were above her looking down and the kind of the diminished perspective, your drawing looks like you're kind of at eye level or below her eye level looking up. So it has a very different feel and perspective, from the photo. But again, it's a nice drawing. It works really well. And I see, you're playing a little bit with your line and your line weight. And, you, as I said, you really kind of got into doing the chair. and
Mhm.
you know, a lot of the little, you know, wood, you know, the design and stuff in it. So that was kind of fun.
It was, since I couldn't finish her dress. So I said, well, let me work on this chair that I can see a little bit of.
Okay.
But did she have her leg crossed over? Because I couldn't tell.
No, I don't think that they were crossed. I think they were just kind of like
Okay.
side by side. But
Oh,
she
side
was
by
kind of
side, okay.
sitting kind of,
Sideways.
yeah, kind of, you know, more on her right hip than her left hip.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so she wasn't sitting straight and flat in the chair. You know, she was, you know, kind of slouched in it kind of comfortably.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then, of course, you know, the piece I wanted to talk about the most today so far was this lovely piece. Yay! Okay. What does everybody think of that?
That's cute.
Oh, very
Yeah,
cute.
thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's more than cute.
Very nice, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, really nice, strong color, pattern, design, the movement of the kids, you know, the whole composition is really pretty nicely done.
And then the people that are way in the back,
Uh-huh.
you know, got some people way in the back on the lawn someplace.
Right. And see, she's beginning to get some depth in there. Now, the other, just, was it yesterday? Yeah, I guess it was yesterday we couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I was pointing out to you is that the kids here in the front, if these little girls, if you had made them just a little bit bigger so that maybe they overlapped, like up to here,
Yes.
see, then that would have pushed them back further.
Right.
Oh, okay.
See, by having
And that's what I tried to do with the plants, making them bigger, you know, to bring them closer to the person looking at the picture.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying about those girls. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I'm not saying cover the other girls up. I'm just saying, you know, like bring these heads up a little bit, you know, so that, you know, they clearly overlap. Because right now you're kind of getting them right at the bottom of the dresses, and it almost kind of creates what we call a tangent, you know, where two things come together like that. But if you had just brought them up a little bit, you would have gotten that depth, you know, that you were looking for, and really kind of push these girls back into the middle ground. See, plus you would have had a little. You do have a scale difference between these girls and these, but it's fairly slight. And if you just made them a little bit larger, it would have made it a little bit clearer. Okay. So, but it's a beautiful piece. You know,
I just saw the butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl chasing the butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you kind of get into the different, you know, individual parts of the piece, you know, there's some nice stories going on there. You know, little individual kind of vignettes and things. But yeah, you're getting the idea. Okay.
Okay, I'm working. I'll start
I
working
love
on
the
that.
movement of the children in this very much.
Yeah,
Makes
it's beautifully done.
come alive.
Yeah, they all seem to be playing different games. One little girl has a ball, other little girl playing together, like ring around the roses or something.
Yeah. Remind me of my childhood. You know how we go outside and play all kind of stuff, jacks and like ring around a rosy and catch and stuff. You know, that was my thought there.
Yeah.
Well, you pull that off very nicely. That works really well. So
thank you.
In fact, you know, to date, I think that's probably one of the nicest pieces I've seen you do.
Oh,
honestly.
Wow, thanks.
Really.
Yeah.
I love the colors. I love the color.
Yeah. Now, you know, if I can just keep you looking at, you know, Leo and Diane Dillon's books, you know, and you keep borrowing things from them, you know, and stuff, you know, you could be making some really, really nice artwork there. You know, you
could be making some real money there.
Yeah, but well, you could probably do that too. You know, I mean, they're always looking for book illustrators, and particularly book illustrators who specialize or focus on, you know, minority communities.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You know, because they're always looking, you know, for stories and stuff that, you know, relate to that specific, you know, group of people.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
you know, for a long time, you know, it's basically, you know, all the kids were like Charlie Brown, you know, and so, and that's not everybody in the world. So, you know, there's a big market in that. And in fact, when I first got out of school, my very first clients were publishers, book publishers. And what they hired me for was for doing what they called ethnic types. If they needed somebody to do a Native American, you know, somebody who was African or Asian descent, you know, any kind of Hispanic, they called me because I would draw and paint people to make them look like that type of person.
Yeah.
You know, one of the problems that they had with a lot of illustrators, they were, you know, they were good artists, but when it came to drawing people of a different ethnicity, they just made them look like a dark-skinned white person.
Okay.
You know, and you know, when you're trying to be, I guess, you know, a little more sensitive, you know, to some of those ethnic communities and things like that, and have them represented, you know, it's not a, you know, that's not a good look for that, you know, publishers. So you know, they, back in the 70s and 80s, they became a lot more aware of that and started kind of working toward that goal.
So Charles, what did you use when you were learning to look at faces and find those differences that characterize different ethnic and racial
types?
groups?
Well, one was, I was pretty good at mixing skin tones and getting them accurate. Okay. And I learned that from Tony Manny, who was a portrait painter who I apprenticed with when I was really young. And knowing how to mix skin tones, but also looking at the, you know, the underlying bone structure and the proportions and things. Different ethnicities have, you know, I mean, there's a wide variety, you know, in every ethnic group. But there are, you know, when you start looking at individual faces, you know, there's differences in proportions. If you look at, say, you know, somebody from Japan, and then somebody from Southeast Asia, say from Cambodia or Thailand or something like that, they actually look very different from each other. You know, there's these subtle differences, but you need to look at them and be aware of them. And, you know, like with a lot of the Japanese people with Japanese ethnicity, you'll find that they have a much sort of flatter facial plane, right, than a lot of the people from Southeast Asia. You know, and a lot of people from Southeast Asia also have this kind of more rounded forehead, where the Japanese have a kind of a flatter forehead. You know, also the lower jaw and the lower part of the face in a lot of Southeast Asian people, you know, move slightly forward. And the same thing with a lot of people from Africa. You know, it moves slightly forward in the face, you know, rather than somebody who's Caucasian. And a lot of Caucasian people, the lower part of the face, the jawline and things actually move backward. So you know, you begin to look at those subtle differences in things. And
well, just the skull alone gives you can tell differences as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's the actual structure, the underlying bone structure that's different, you know, in each group. And that's why, you know, when like an archaeologist or paleontologist, they begin to look, you know, at, you know, these skulls, you know, obviously, you know, you're looking at a skull from 40 or 50,000 years ago, you know, there's no skin on them, right? There's no muscle on them. But you begin to look at the bone structure, and even in the bone structure, you can look at where those muscles and things attach, how they attach, and you can begin to, you know, go back and get some idea of what the ethnic background, you know, of that particular individual was, you know, and where the origins were from. So it's, you know, there's a whole study and stuff like that. But it's fascinating stuff if you can really get into it. And
So
since,
Charles,
yeah,
I have a question about the scale on the background, the backdrop, where I have the plants. That's okay.
You mean the up at the top here?
Yeah, where the plants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going from okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, the scale of this is much smaller in relationship to any of the size relationships coming forward.
Okay.
And these being leaves, and these being leaves, these are much smaller. That tells us they're further away, right? These are much larger, gives us the idea that they're much closer to us, right?
Yeah. So is diminishing in size going from corner to corner, though.
And it's getting more muted.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
The plants in the background going from corner to corner. How I got them going smaller, is that a good thing there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, because again, these look closer to us.
Okay.
These seem to be further away, and that kind of sets up. You look at the angle, and it becomes a perspective line. Moving you back. In the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one question. What is the backdrop of the girl that's in the middle? Is that a clothesline or something?
Oh, like
which
here?
one?
Yeah,
she's talking about this light green shape. Yeah, it looks like a wall.
Well, actually, it's supposed to be them on. Yeah, it's supposed to be like grass a little bit. And I was trying to. I was afraid to make it too dark. Like the girls are in the back. Theirs is darker. I was going to try and bring that out, but I didn't want it to be that dark. And so I really didn't know what to do with that.
Okay.
So I left the seafoam green up there, put a little sidewalk down. So it's supposed to look like that's grass back there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to me, when I looked at this, it looked like they were kind of like in a courtyard or something like that. And this was a wall. And then there's the yard on the other side.
And that's what it is. It's a
That's
it's a wall.
That's
it's a
the
wall.
impression I got too on that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah. But I think that's better as far as like in a courtyard like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because the color here and the color here are really kind of the same.
Yeah.
And then it looks like there's some kind of pathway or something to it. But at that edge, it kind of like, okay, so maybe that's a wall and that goes vertical.
Okay, so would it have been better to make that a darker green, but lighter than that green that the girls in the background are sitting on?
No, I'm fine with it as a wall. If you wanted to make it grass, then yeah. And let's say that you did bring this green all the way down, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Then that would have, basically, because of the scale of them in comparison to these girls, they would still feel closer to you. You just wouldn't have a wall between you.
Okay.
It would just be, one big field of grass all the way up to here.
And it should be the same color.
But no, it could
It's
get
too
lighter.
dark. That's too dark. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
You'd be messing up your figures here. The whole idea to me that makes this wonderful is that I'd keep it like it, but I'd make it a sheet or if you want a wall or a sheet or something being held up behind them.
Okay.
Personally, I wouldn't change it. I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay.
But I'm talking hypothetically, and again, I'm not suggesting that you do it because I think it works fine the way it is. But yeah, if you wanted to use a green like this, you would have to get a much lighter value as you come forward.
So if I want to keep the wall effect, I could put some kind of trimming design on there so you can see that that's a wall going.
You could, or you could just leave it alone, and not do anything to it because as it is, it works.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's like why.
Why fix the wheel if it's not broke, huh?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to say about this before it goes away and we go talk about John's pieces he sent in?
That's good. I like it.
Okay. All right. So let's go find John's pieces, and we'll talk about his stuff, and then we'll kind of go from there. Let's see. Let me open these up.
That won't take too long.
Say what now?
It won't take too long.
No.
It takes as long as it needs to.
Oh, we can, we can talk bad about stuff all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, we're not going to do that. Anyway, so let's take a look at John's stuff. So John sent in his drawing of the butterfly. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, you're, I've kind of watched how your drawings have kind of evolved in the last, say, 6 to 8 months, John, for the guy who does not draw.
Right?
Yeah, that's what you kept telling me. I don't draw.
That's me. That's
Yeah.
me. I don't draw.
Yeah, but the fact is you do draw now, okay? And you're actually getting pretty good at it. And you're beginning to see shapes and proportions. You're beginning to figure out how to use line and how to put it together, which is a good thing, because it's nice to have both of those, as kind of in your bag of tricks. Now, what I was telling Bernice earlier was that, now that you're getting to the point where you're beginning to get things and the proportions of things are kind of falling in place, you need to kind of think a little more about, the process that you're going to go through to draw things, and learning how to blend and soften and make.
I actually did use paper towel on the upper part of the wing, and then the lower one in the shade. I did wipe that with paper towel.
Okay.
What's the name of that eraser again?
Kneaded. Kneaded.
Okay.
Kneaded eraser.
Okay.
John, if you use a Q-tip, it may work a little better, or a Kleenex than a paper towel, because they're softer and they're easier to feel what you're doing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And smaller.
Yeah, lots of things work. You can buy stumps at the store, which, okay, you can do that, but yeah, paper towel, Kleenex, anything that's soft, even your finger will work. The only issue with the finger is that you have oil, on your hands, and if you're working the drawing a lot, it can get a little bit of oil in the paper, and over time that will discolor, as the oil kind of.
It's funny because I have a stump and I have a kneadable eraser, but I never think about using them.
Right. Well, see, I'm trying to encourage you to do so. Okay. Play with them.
I thought you were saying the stumps, because that's what I have. You a white stump, like you wrap paper or something. I thought you said the stumps were not as good as the paper towel or whatever. These little stump.
Yeah. The only time that I really use a stump, I'm kind of like John. It's like I have a couple of them around here, but I seldom ever think about using them.
Okay.
But the only time I really do use them if I'm working on something that's a very small area that needs to be softened. Okay. And at that point, in a lot of cases I'll use like a paper towel, like a really thick, paper towel, and I'll take like one of my little detail brushes, and then I'll wrap the paper towel around the end of it, so I just get kind of a very small point to get in the work.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's another trick. But if you've got a stump, that works really well for that. Because that's really what it's made for. Broader areas, things like that, I'll just use, again, that same paper towel, and I'll just soften the drawing back with it. But we'll talk more about the process, of building a drawing up, and then going back in there and then using line, to kind of punch up certain areas of it. But you're well on your way here. You've got some nice, areas where you've laid in value. And early on, when you did that, a lot of when you tried to lay down tone, it looked really kind of scratchy. And in this case, it's beginning to kind of pull together and soften a little bit. So that's good. You're beginning to manage that much better. When you kind of got...
Okay, I wasn't too impressed with that myself.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely seeing some differences, in the way that you're using, the tools now.
Okay.
And it's getting better, it's definitely improving. On this one, again, you're beginning to lay those tones inside the lines and the shapes, and your lines are getting, a little bit more varied than they used to be. The only thing with the tones are, you need to take the next step, kind of, soften them, blend them back. These are a little bit hard, and what Barbara Bradley would, her comment would be that the drawing looks spotty. Okay.
Looked what?
Spotty.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a dark here, you got a dark there,
Right.
And they're all kind of the same, right? And so, that's where going back in and just softening, and making, rather than just, two values, finding a transition, so there's a range of value, moving across your body. And that would help, make her look a little bit softer and rounder. So, getting back to the blending thing. Okay.
Right.
And then we're going to look at Mr. Shane Mcdonald here. Okay. Now you gave Shane some character.
Yes.
He, again, and this is what I was talking about, when you're laying down tones, that sometimes it looks a little bit scratchy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of happening in here.
Yep.
And so, when that happens, and the reason that happens is you're trying to get the tone down there too fast. You're in a hurry. And so you're putting too much pressure and trying to build it up, too quickly. And if you lighten up on the pressure of it, you'll get a much softer, transition. It'll take you a little bit longer to get it down there, but the overall effect will be, that it will be softer and it will kind of blend into everything else rather than, be very distinct like that. Okay?
Again, I was trying to keep within the time constraint we had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and my comment was the same, as I had for Lorraine. It's not about getting everything finished.
Right. Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather see you take.
Well, but I'm like you. I tend to overwork once I start.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I know that one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But here's where, softening, somebody, if it ever gets to the point where it begins to look scratchy or whatever, just stop, take a paper towel, something like that, soften it back, blend it back before you keep building on it.
I think down in the neck, I did use the paper towel and then go back to the darker.
Right. And so, yeah, see, it's a much softer effect down here. And this sits back and lets, the facial and the jawline, all that area move forward in front of it. So that worked out okay. But yeah, it's, you're seeing the overall proportions and things, pretty well. It's using that line effectively. And then when you use tone, not being in a big rush and being a little more thoughtful about how you lay it down and softening it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to how to use the medium, when to use the harder pencil versus the softer.
Yeah. Well,
I'm still trying to get used to that.
Right.
Yeah, I tend to use one pencil too. You just use the one pencil and
I
try to
use
do
I use all of them.
lighter,
Well,
lighter here and darker there. But
uh,
yeah, I'm like you. I don't know what all those 4B, 2B, 6B. I just pick one and make it lighter and darker.
okay, so here's a lesson for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. When you're building up a drawing, right? For the most part, people start off with the harder pencil first. And what they do is they do a light sketch. Okay, because the lead's so hard, it's not going to put down a dark line.
And the harder is the larger number, or the harder is the lower number.
Well, the harder the pencil, the less graphite it's going to leave on the paper without a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So it's, so if you're doing, let's say, a mechanical drawing, or, an illustrator is putting down a sketch, what they're doing is they're using that lighter pencil to lay that sketch in, because that line is not going to be very dark. It's, you're going to be able to see it, but it's not going to be real dominant. And so, you're just kind of finding the overall layout, of the composition. And then as they work, they'll work toward the softer pencils, the 6Bs, the 9Bs. 9B is as soft as you get. And at that point, then they're putting in their really, really strong darks, because drawing is a lot like watercolor, instead of like painting, because, what you're doing is, as you start your drawing, you're starting off with your lighter values and you're building toward your darks.
I did do that. I did start with the HB, I think, and ended up with B6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get the feel of it.
Okay. All right. Friday. Yeah, I'll get that video out again, that I put together on the drawing process, and we'll watch that again. And again, it takes it's about an hour long. So I'll play that again, and I'll walk you guys back through that process, and that might explain a lot of things to you. Okay.
Charles, you sent that video out to everybody?
No.
Okay.
It's a little too big to send via email.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to say it's about 100 megabytes. So it won't.
It won't go. It won't go.
Yeah.
All we need is the name. If and we can probably pull it up.
There isn't a name. It's one that I made. It's me
Oh,
drawing.
Okay.
And I'm kind of explaining the process.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, and you could probably find it online. You'll either find it on my Facebook page, because I posted it earlier, and or you'll find it on YouTube, because I played it for one of the early classes from, this would have been in, 2019.
Okay.
So we can go to YouTube under your name and that'll come up?
It would be under the Fulton County Department of Senior Services class.
Oh, okay.
But what I'll do is I'll play it on Friday, and then I'll post it on Dropbox, and I'll send you guys a link so you can download it, from Dropbox.
That sounds good. Now, Bernice had asked you about a video. I think this one had to do with the heads.
Yeah.
That one you can send us?
Well, I can send you the link for it, because that's on YouTube.
Okay, that's
but
good.
Now
Thank you. What?
I've already sent you the links for it.
Yeah, that we got.
Okay.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay, let me check my email then.
Yeah, I sent it out about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'll read.
I'll look on mine too. Yeah.
Talking about the head where you went in thirds and thirds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it on that link, on that email. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a link for both of those. It's a 2-part video.
Right.
Yeah, and I sent you the link for both of them. So you should have the email for that. And again, you know, if you don't, I can always resend that email or, you know, copy the links and send out another one. But, you know,
Okay.
but look for it. And if you can't find it by Friday, let me know.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'll resend it.
Good.
Okay?
All right.
Well, guess what? Oh, that's it. Okay. So that's, you know, that's everybody's work. Okay. Anybody curious about, you know, what I've been messing with lately?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's scary.
Uh-oh.
I'll show you. I'm serious. It is scary. You know.
Halloween, so
Yeah.
reason
But,
to be afraid.
yeah. But
Nothing for Halloween now.
yeah, we're all adults here. But you know, I'll show you. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, come on, share. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, can you guys see?
Purple lady.
Oh, yes. Oh, my.
Okay. So,
It's the
what
angel
was
of
it?
death?
Yeah, basically, yes. The
Yeah.
Grim Reaper, I guess, you know. You know, and normally the Grim Reaper is depicted as a male figure.
Yeah.
You know, this is a female figure.
I've seen the female angel of death on other paintings, so yeah.
So that's why your refrigerator does not work. You know that commercial about the the death comes from the refrigerator?
Yes.
Oh.
You do that painting, so your refrigerator. Oh, that must be for me.
Yeah. Well, I wish she would come from my refrigerator. But, yeah, she hasn't showed up yet. At any rate, but this is actually a very small painting. This is like an 8x10,
Okay.
and it was never meant to be a finished painting. It's a study, just a kind of concept. And what I was kind of having fun with is, you know, getting more and more paint, you know, built up, you know, on the surface.
Oh, yeah.
And how the color was developing, because this started off as an underpainting, and then I glazed it, you know, with probably about 8 to 10 layers of colored glaze in different areas. And then I started working more opaquely and building up the paint. And so, you know, there's a pretty good idea of, you know, what the surface of the paint is like.
Oh, okay.
Now on the figures, you know, the paint is generally not that thick. You know, there's a couple of passages on it. Some of it is opaque, you know, but a lot of it is still very transparent.
You
But
can see
in the
wood.
actual background, you know, it gets pretty thick. And, you know, again, you know, that goes back to a very traditional way of painting, of using what we call fat over lean, right? So your darker colors are thinner, right, passage of the paint. And the lighter the values get, you know, the more opaque and heavier the paint passage gets. So anyway, that, you know, the idea behind this was basically, you know, it was an idea, and you know, I started off, you know, with a couple of drawings and sketches and things like that, and developed it into this small study. And whether I'll go further with it and do a finished painting with it, I don't know. You know, I'm not quite sure yet. And I've kind of rethought it and come up with a very different compositions for it. So I'm still working with it. We're playing with the idea. Saturday, I went over, and at the Atlanta Artist Center, we had this young lady who was sitting as a model. And so she was actually a model who worked for me over at Benson, you know, many times. A lot of you guys, if you went to Benson, you drew her. This is the whole painting. And this is, you know, I started off, it was a 3-hour, you know, one sitting. And so I got a lot done. I didn't really finish the whole figure. And so later on, I came back in and I added more paint to it. This is kind of a close-up. Now this is actually before, I took it to a finish. And, I hate to admit this to you, but, when I did the initial layout on the painting, I wasn't that happy with it. I wasn't really happy with the overall proportions between the head and the legs and the body and the positioning of them. So pretty much so, after I finished this, the 3 hours, and I kind of got it to about where the paint overall was like this, I pretty much took a brush and a rag, and I rubbed all of this out, and I redrew it and repainted it because, it wasn't right.
We actually love to hear that you're struggling along with us.
Well, when I do, I want to admit it to you, because the one thing I want you to know is that, I don't care how long you do this, it's always going to be a challenge. I mean, things will get better, and some paintings go better than others, but some you're going to struggle with, you just are. But that's always a good thing. Yeah,
so
Jean?
when you say,
Tell them to look at your folds, and you can see the folds in your fabric.
Oh.
That's what they need to look at.
Yeah.
That's what I always look at first anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really want to get folds and faces down. Because to me, it's kind of the same thing, the shading and everything.
Yeah. Well, now if you look at the folds at this stage, right? I mean, you get a general idea of the structure, but then when you look at them here, come on, let's go back to the finish. They're a little more finished.
Right.
so I have a question. I've only dibbled and dabbled in a little bit of oil, but I heard you say that you rubbed it out.
Yeah.
What did you do? I mean, what?
I took a rag and I took some turpentine.
Oh.
And I just literally took all the paint off of like the lower half of the paint and started over again.
So you took paint off from her knee down? Or?
No, really from like right under her breast.
Oh, that far. Okay.
Yeah, from about right there down, all of that went away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because what had to happen is that this arm, had to come across and move further across the body. The knee had to move down from where I had it. I didn't have enough distance in here, and then I had to obviously, align the hands again and bring that back out. So yeah, everything moved, on the lower half of the painting.
Oh, okay. So how long did it take that to dry for you to start again?
Oh, right
away?
You don't have to let it dry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just, literally it's like when you rub it down and all you have left is canvas.
I see.
You just start putting more paint on it.
Okay. All right.
It's wet still, it's not dry, so it'll all come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. And again, now the paint is a lot thicker at this point, but when I was here, the paint is still pretty thin.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just kind of laid in kind of loosely. And so, removing that and you can actually see what I was, you can actually, come back here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can actually see what I was talking about. See the distance in here?
Yeah.
It's a lot shorter, right? And so all of this had to move down. See, it all had to move down to about right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hey.
On the backdrop, is that the original backdrop? Did you put your own backdrop in it?
No, that was there.
Oh, that is the backdrop. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, they had hung a quilt across like a room divider and put it behind her, and then had this red piece of fabric over here on the corner.
Okay. So, yeah.
And yes, the drapery, the cloth in the chair was green. So we got a bunch of artists there. they're pretty good at that color coordination stuff. So anyway, there's my drawing from Friday.
Oh, okay.
So,
I see what you mean about a hint, because you have the chair very detailed on the left side, but only a hint of the chair that's on the right.
yeah.
That's what I gotta learn to do, to just give it enough so that you know that it's there, and not try to paint everything, and not try to draw everything.
Well, the question is, what's it really all about? Is it about the chair, or is it about her? So now, if I wanted to go back in and finish the chair, I could, but I mean,
So Charles, what was your media you using?
this is Prismacolor pencils.
Pencils. And the white was put in, is a white pencil put in at the end over to make the highlights?
Yeah, again, it's a Prismacolor pencil though. This is a sepia colored Prismacolor pencil. And see, it's not graphite, so it doesn't erase and it doesn't move. You have to have an electric eraser to erase it. You can't erase it with a kneaded eraser or a gum eraser or anything like that. Yeah, doesn't work.
But you called it a Prisma pencil?
Prismacolor.
A Prismacolor. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a colored pencil. But you can buy them, they've got probably 400 different colors, right? And they've got a whole grayscale set. They've got, sepias and different browns and things like that. I usually just use the sepia, to draw with.
Yeah.
And then I use the white to highlight it. But that only works if you're using a toned piece of paper, like a gray.
Okay.
And usually when I buy a sketchbook, I don't buy white paper. I buy a gray because I know I'm going to use that combination on top of it.
Okay.
And see, that already gives me a value in place to build on.
Very nice.
Yeah. So there's my butterfly.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
So, and then Shane, Mr. McVeigh. So. And then
you can actually see the circles that are in his face.
Do what now?
You can actually see the circles.
Yeah. Yeah, that 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Right,
Beginning of his brow ridge.
Okay.
And then up here at his cheekbone and moving down under his ear.
Was that actually in the picture, or did you just put it in there?
Well, I put it in there because I
Okay,
started.
good.
Well, because I started off building that structure that that we saw in the video. Yeah, and kind of just adjusting it to the proportions that I was seeing in his head.
All right.
And then I built the drawing on top of it.
Okay.
But I left it in there because it gave me,
tell me where everything is.
Yeah, well, it gave me a clear indication of where the side plane and front plane.
Like on John's drawing, I see where he went down right through. He made this kind of curved line up to the top of his head, down through his nose. And that's what I saw in John's drawing.
Yeah. While you're talking about the center line of the face.
Yeah, that's what John had on his. Yeah.
Well, and while we're talking about there's a little study that I did of the lady that you guys drew in the chair.
Oh, Laura, you said her name was?
Laura. Yeah. She had an interesting face.
Yeah.
And then this is that little thumbnail I did for John.
Oh, right.
Friday, or was it Friday or Thursday or something? I guess it was Thursday. Yeah. And again, that's probably white. I think I maybe did it 5 or 6 inches tall. It's not very big. But again, just, trying to get the idea. And, normally I wouldn't do a thumbnail that big. I'd do it like half that size, like maybe 3 or 4 inches, and just keep it simple. But, before you start doing even like a finished drawing, it's a good idea to do like 5 or 6 of these and just play with the size relationships, where the darks and lights are, you know, begin to kind of develop your idea, right, of what you want this drawing to look like, you know, at a small scale, before you commit to spending a long time, you know, trying to do a finished drawing. So, here's that little demonstration I did about changing the line weight, right?
Oh,
Where the light and where the shadow are.
Mm.
Seeing, you know, punching up that, you know, the dark lines, or wherever there's compression, or it meets, you know, one surface meets another. See, and it gives you more variety, but it also tells you, see, if you had to stop right here, you know, you get the idea that probably this bottom part was not as light as the top part. You know, that was probably in shadow, right? Same thing with the bottom part of the lemon and stuff, or yeah, lemon and the orange. You know, that there's probably some kind of value or tone attached to this area, where up here it's lighter. So, and you do that by varying that line weight. And you know, it's you know, it's just like a language. You know, you're talking to somebody. You know, there's my version of the Friday artist still life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at the folds.
Yeah, folds again. And then this, you know, every once in a while I get a little bored sitting around the house looking, you know, at this place. So I head out in the world. And this was over at a little coffee house not far from here. And I'll go over and I'll just sit and I'll sketch people, you know, while they're drinking coffee, talking to each other and stuff. And I'll just do little sketches like this in a sketchbook. And again, this is that Prismacolor pencil.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the sepia. What is this? It's kind of like a Tuscan red or something like that.
Oh.
You know, with white. And again, it's on a brown, you know, or beige, you know, background.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't buy sketchbooks anymore that have white paper in them. I just don't. Or very, very seldom. I've still got a lot of them around, you know, to use up, but pretty much so now. I pretty much so work, you know, in a sketchbook that's got, you know, some kind of color or tone on it. You know, just because it gives me you know, a value that's already there that I can play a light and a dark off of. So, but anyhow, is that about it? No?
Have you ever seen a charcoal sketchbook with color, like a brown or gray?
Yeah. Well, you can use charcoal in these too. The reason I don't use graphite and the reason that I don't use charcoal anymore is because, you know, in a sketchbook, okay, let me be clear about it. In a sketchbook, I still draw with those.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing like a large finished drawing or something like that, I'll use charcoal, you know, in chalk, which will give me kind of the same effect. But if I'm working in a sketchbook, I want to use a medium that I don't have to worry about transferring over to the other side of the page. And if you use Conte or charcoal or something like that, even if you fix them after a good number of years, you know, it's still going to transfer to the other side, you know, when that book is closed.
Oh.
And the drawings begin to look kind of muddy and dirty. The only way that you can get away from that, if you're using charcoal as a medium in a sketchbook, is to, one, fix it, and then you've got to put what they call a slip sheet in between pages to stop it from transferring.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's more work than it's worth for me.
Yeah.
You know, plus if I'm using a sketchbook, I don't have to carry around a sketchbook that's got all these pieces of paper sticking out of it, all these slip sheets.
Right.
You
Not
know?
only that, but some of that, like the chalk or the charcoal falls out and it gets all over your hands and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's been in
Yeah.
there.
No,
It disappears.
yeah,
instead of-
charcoal is the messiest
Yeah,
art medium of anything ever created.
with pastels, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's far, far messier than pastels.
But together, It's
Yeah.
still really messy.
I mean, it's a beautiful medium, and you can do some absolutely amazing drawings with it, you know. But it's a very messy process. And if you're a kind of a person that you like everything very pristine and clean around your house, the last thing you want to try to do is charcoal drawings, you know, because you will have charcoal from one end of that house to the other, all over the place. You know, it just will.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the nature of the beast. Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to. You know, and I'm like always, you know, I'm always working on, you know, at least 5 or 6 different things at once. You know, because I'll work on something and I'll kind of set it aside, let it dry, get to the next stage, pick up something else. So, you know, so it's always something. But that's what I do for fun these days is, you know, we push paint around and, you know,
Keep busy.
draw and paint.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Relaxing.
Sometimes.
Enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yep. It's getting at that time.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for coming. And, you know, now everybody got the email I sent out this afternoon, right? With the links.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Just want to make sure everybody got it. Okay.
Charles, I
Uh-huh.
did a butterfly, but I didn't do your butterfly because I did that butterfly in reference because I want to do a watercolor for somebody with that type of butterfly. But this was done like on a 5x7 acrylic, I think. Did you get that for me?
I don't.
Around here right now that travels to Texas all the time. I can't think of the brand.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, when did you send it?
Last week, or first part of this week.
You know, I bet it was probably, well, it's only Tuesday. So was it last week?
Between the doctors and doing everything, I hadn't had time to do too much.
Yeah.
Gotta go. See you all tomorrow.
Yeah, I may have gotten it. I may have gotten it last
me
week.
too.
It may have been
Bye-bye.
in the mix Thursday. I'll go back and take a look. And if it is, then I'll.
I'm working on, like you just said, I'm still working on that Georgia dome, and I'm still working on. I started trying to do a, you know, a selfie kind of a thing. I've been working on that, but not of late. It's just not enough time in the day.
Okay. All right.
But I may send you what I've done with the. I sent you one, and of course I didn't have the drawing in the right perspective. I just was placing it because I wanted it off center, and I just, you know, shot it in there.
Okay. Well, you know, I mean,
Not
yeah,
through with anything.
yeah, you can always send stuff. You know, it doesn't have to be finished. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be finished probably because I don't like it. I put it aside till I get brave enough to start again.
Yeah, I know how that works. Yeah, you got to take a little time to figure it out. But you know, and that's
Charles,
yeah.
how to find you said the gray color, have the colorful paper and the dry sketchbook.
Well, you can, you know, you can go to any of the
Amazon have it.
yeah.
Amazon have it.
Well, binders.
Walmart has a sketchbook with the colored paper in it.
Yeah, binders would have it. Blick would have
Walmart
it.
got it. She goes to Walmart, I'm sure.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that Walmart would have it.
They got a sketchbook with I think it's kind of a brownish color or some kind of colored paper because I saw it there when I bought a pad.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you know, you could go look around at Walmart, but
Michael's has it.
Michael's, binders,
Binders.
and yeah, worst case scenario, you can get it off of Amazon.
Okay, thank you.
And let's see, I think it's I want to say it's.
Yeah, let me take a picture.
Let you take a picture. Well, here. I don't know about taking a picture of it, but let's see. It's by Strathmore. That's the name of the company, Strathmore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, STRATHMORE. And it's, I have a pad here. It's called Toned, T-O-N-E-D, gray. But they also have like a toned beige or brown as well.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think.
And anyway, yeah, it's, you know, they're really not any more expensive than, you know, buying, you know, a sketchbook with white paper in it. Huh?
It's like $7 or $8 a tablet.
Yeah, probably something like that, you know. But like I said,
Thank
you know,
you.
for me, you know, I kind of want to work on an already toned paper,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just because, you know, then I can use a light pencil and a dark pencil and get a range of value.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I won't be here Friday either or tomorrow.
Okay. Well.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I need to be here Thursday at the rate I'm going right now.
Okay.
Like what point you take a
Right.
piss at?
Yeah. Well, now you know that Friday is the last class before I go on vacation, right?
Yes, I got the message.
Oh,
Saying that
you will give vacation? How long?
Huh?
Tell her to
How
look
long?
for how long, she said.
Till the 18th. Yeah, the 18th will after Friday. The next class we'll have is on the 18th
Okay.
of October.
Wow. So 2 weeks or 3
weeks.
weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mhm.
So we don't have the classes for 2 weeks.
No,
Okay.
no.
Got it.
But hey, like I told you guys, you know, if you guys want to get together and, you know,
Okay.
You can always
Come on.
paint on your own.
that's right. You know, you guys know how to run Zoom now.
You know how to be by yourself all the time now with the pandemic.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Charles. I may take a picture of unfinished stuff that's going on that I hadn't worked on in a long time.
Okay. All right. Well, hey.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody.
Have a good trip.
Have a good evening. We'll see
Have a
you
good
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Bye.